I haven't seen you since the plague.
Expect the worst. Some drink champagne, some die of thirst. No way of knowing which way it's going. Hope for the best, expect the worst. Hope for the best, expect the worst. The world's a stage, we're unrehearsed. Some reach the top, friends, while others drop, friends. Hope for the best, expect the worst. I knew a man who saved a fortune that was splendid. Then he died the day he planned to go and spend it, shouting, live while you're alive. No one will survive. Life is sorrow. Here today and gone tomorrow. Live while you're alive. No one will survive. There's no guarantee.
You come into my house, you insult my puzzles?
Disrespectful.
Disrespectful.
These are my
Me?
puzzles. I demand to be respected for my puzzling puzzles.
Hey, listen. You know, you can't just barge in here. You can't just look at my puzzles and tell me they're nothing. I want to see a little respect.
You'll look me dead in the eye and tell me that my puzzles are stupid? I don't think so. They're puzzles. You know who's stupid? You. You're stupid.
The doormat outside says take off your shoes. Not take off your respect.
For my puzzles.
Not for my puzzles. Don't you dare.
Don't even think. The disrespect for my puzzles right now. I swear to God. You know, if my father was around to hear this, wouldn't stand for it. No disrespecting puzzles in this house. Okay?
Wouldn't fucking stand for it, okay? There used to be a little thing called manners.
I don't know why
Okay.
it just turned into if Gilbert Gottfried was in a Scorsese film.
Listen here. Listen up, chumps.
So stupid.
You go get your fucking shine box. Oh, it's so funny. I mean, I get that he has a funny voice. It's very funny that he became a children's voiceover actor because he is the filthiest stand-up comedian you will ever come across.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Him, Bob Saget.
Bob Saget is dirty because he's not funny.
Well, yeah. He's dirty in lieu of funny. Gilbert Gottfried, you got to give it up. His voice is very funny.
Oh, yeah.
Now, of course, it is a stage voice. I hate to dispel that illusion. He doesn't actually sound like
Really?
that. Yeah.
Now I want to hear what he sounds like outside of the character.
He's just like, hi, I'm Gilbert, hi. Hi, I play Iago in Aladdin. He sounds like Aladdin. He voices Iago, but he sounds like Aladdin. Just the most white bread soaked in skim milk fucking agrabah in the
French toast.
The fucking underdone turkey meat that is the voiceover performance of Aladdin in Aladdin.
Oh, man.
Fucking.
Oh, geez.
Jasmine's like, I can jump over a cliff myself. Now, don't worry. Don't be too intimidated. I will be captured before the end of the movie, and I will need you to save me. But I can handle myself.
Yeah. Look, here's the thing. I've tamed and have as a pet a live tiger, but I need a man to save me by the end of the movie. Don't
I'm
ask
trapped
questions.
in this
It's
hourglass. I'm stuck in a big hourglass. And I need a man's help to get out of here. My tiny feminine fingers cannot pry myself from this hourglass.
No, I hate it.
I can't do it.
Don't like it. Oh my god.
I'm fucking trapped in
How are we
here.
going to introduce this show now that we're not doing community things for this? Is it still part of the community podcast, or are you giving it a new
Yeah. I'm going to.
So welcome to
I was
Advanced
planning on
Community
just.
Studies, where we talk about The Witcher season 1.
I was just going to say Advanced Witcher Studies, but.
Advanced Witcher Studies. Oh, no, that's makes more sense, I guess.
Checks out. It's essentially right. Although, like, you know, if our community studies are advanced, our Witcher studies are, like, intermediate at best.
Intro to Witcher. Wait, that's a good name, though, because this is literally my first watch through. This is you and sometimes Caleb giving me an introduction to The Witcher.
We are giving you an intro to Witcher, and I think the best way to do that is with my Skype virtual background, which is Henry Cavill in a bathtub.
She's so naked. She's wearing
very
nothing
naked.
but a necklace.
they really kept the spirit of the video games, where Geralt taking baths is like an important fan. it's important to the fans that Geralt take a bath. Really keeping the spiritual integrity.
I have
of the
not
source
played
material.
these games. I think it's one of those things that when I do eventually get a gaming system, which I've talked to Kevin and Caleb extensively about.
Of course.
I think eventually The Witcher will be on those lists of games.
Just do
play.
3.
Just
Just
the third one?
do 3.
Just
Yeah,
3?
and just do 3.
Okay.
Because and we're going to talk about this eventually. I've played all 3.
Uh-huh.
The first one, would not be available in anything you're about to buy, and is it
That bad, huh?
it interesting. It has some interesting ideas. It's an extraordinarily Eastern
What was it released
European
on?
low budget RPG. Just PC, I think.
Oh, okay.
Maybe was like ported to
What
the
year?
original Xbox or something.
Okay.
It was one of those.
Gotcha.
And then Witcher 2 is like fine. It's fine. It's fine. But just
what I
play
wanted.
3. Anything you want out of The Witcher, you will get out of 3. And the other 2, you will be like, this isn't quite what I wanted.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
just play 3. So that's just
But
a
yeah,
little
but essentially,
advice.
that being said, I don't get any of the video game references. I have not read any of the books. This is just I watched the first 2 episodes a while ago when we got excited about The Witcher because Kevin and Caleb were like, you gotta watch it, and I watched it, and I was like,
watch it.
because I had watched part of the first episode, and I was like, I can't do this, and then the two of you were like, you gotta get to episode 2, and then I watched episode 2, and I was like, oh, this is fucking sick, and then we decided we were gonna
Oh, I
finish.
see.
So I said, let me
Oh,
put
I
this on
understand.
pause. So now I have seen episodes 1 and 2 twice, and I have not seen any of them further yet. But I will say, having seen episode 1 twice now, makes a lot more sense. It's written in such a way where it's like, if you know what you're getting into and you're familiar with some of the characters a little bit, it's a little bit easier to follow. It is written and constructed really effectively. I can tell now, just as far as like exposition of these characters, that like I didn't realize that there were repeat characters when what's his name, Stregobor. Thank you for somehow figuring that out from what I said.
I got you.
Realizing Stregobor appears in episode 2 toward the very end, I was like, oh, that's that dude from episode 1, and I did not get that the first time I watched it.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of fucking bearded men on this show,
Right.
and you
But
don't necessarily keep it together.
I didn't fully
so-
register that was the guy that who's the guy that was flirting with Yennefer? What's his name?
Flirting with Yennefer. Oh, down in the
really pretty one.
down in the basement. I think his name is Cohen. I think that's it.
I think it's like is. What is?
Oh, okay. I'm on the IMDb.
Pull it up.
Is it Istred?
What is it?
Let me look up.
Istrid?
Let me look.
I think that's it.
Yes, it is Istrid. My goodness,
Yeah.
that is a handsome man.
Yeah.
My
So pretty,
my
right?
goodness.
Like wowee.
Yeah.
Um.
Beautiful man. You do understand why Yennefer desperately wants to hup his bones.
Oh my god.
Really.
By the way, I shipped the two of them so hard. I'm so excited to see this like forbidden lovers thing play out. I don't know if that's actually what they're doing. I can only assume that that's what they're doing.
I'm going to, unlike the community show where all of us have seen everything, I am going to endeavor to try and be like good about hinting at where things go, because I think the surprise and the intrigue and all of that is part of it. So it seems like we're just into it. This is, of course, Advanced Witcher Studies, a podcast where we watch the Netflix television show The Witcher 2 episodes at a time. I am one of your hosts, TV's Kevin Lanigan. My Witcher pedigree is... I guess we should do a quote.
Oh shit. Oh no. Quotes? Oh god.
Wizards are all the same. They talk in nonsense and make strange, mysterious faces.
Oh god. I don't even know. I'm gonna butcher this. It's so wild. I literally, the first episode of Advanced Community Studies, I threw a quote in as a joke, and it became a running bit, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But like now I'm like, oh, for Witcher, I didn't even think about that. I guess I'll reference, I don't know the quote, but the quote that really captured me that I'm starting to realize is kind of a running theme throughout this thing is that there's no such thing as the lesser evil. The idea
yes.
that The idea that there's like a lesser evil is like it's pointless. Is like there's no such thing as lesser evil. There's just evil, and basically
Sure.
like if I have to choose between the lesser of evil, I'll choose neither. Which
Right.
is wild because honestly, the first time I heard that quote and that whole thing was around the time of the election, actually.
Interesting.
Which was really wild. And I mean, like, I was not a fan of either candidate. I did what I needed to do based on one estimation of it all. But I also am very much of the mentality, I'm like, look, I'm not going to – we don't need to get into it. Essentially, I remember listening to this metaphor and being like, oh, that's freaking rad. That's the take that this show is playing with. And it's very clearly not an American take, which I'm a big fan of.
Right.
Yeah, it was. I was like, "Oh, this is exciting," and to see that play out with what they did with the elves in episode 2, basically, where he then repeats that mentality to be like, "No, like that's not how this works." You've, he kind of talks his way out of a lot of these issues, which is so exciting. I mean, it's very clearly. I remember we talked about it a little bit prior about how this show is very clearly. Written by or the creative team is heavily not men.
Yeah, there is it is showrun by a woman, and it has, I feel, a disproportionate number of female writers and directors.
It registers
compared to other shows.
Sure, it
compared
registers in the
to
way that there's like a sense of autonomy that the women have in this show, which is really exciting. The way that affection and vulnerability is portrayed is really exciting, especially within the male characters, but also the way that like Yennefer, the way that they take someone who is genuinely very pretty and bring this kind of like snot crying, just like ugly crying, this no shame about presenting truly dynamic emotional releases, like not being caught up in like presenting in the performance of femininity, if you will. It's really cool. And just like also, I'm also already hooked on the way that they use the elves as they should be used in most situations, where it's like, oh, these are the indigenous people, hint, hint, wink, wink. They're not really played by that many white people.
Indeed.
It's exciting.
What they do with the elves in this whole universe is extraordinarily interesting, and we'll touch on that when we get to like the second episode specifically, because I want to
You want to do one at a time
without like spoiling everything, without just like popping open the fucking Silmarillion and just like reading you passages. Like I think there are some very interesting ideas within this world, because the world of The Witcher is very much bound by this rules, is that anything significantly emotional enough or chaotic enough can be manifested. You can do these like dark interpretations of fairy tales. Like there are all these different acknowledgments to particularly European fantasy fairy tales, while doing a quote unquote like dark version of that, but doesn't feel like, oh, we're making the fucking gingerbread man edgy. Like we're going to, and there's a very particular interesting one in the first episode that I do think demands to be talked about. But I'll paint my Witcher pedigree a little bit. So I've watched this show. It's only 8 episodes. I've watched it once.
Oh, is it really?
And I watched it basically a calendar year ago. Because it came out on the same day as Cats. My girlfriend and I watched it kind of slowly in pieces over like a few weeks. That's how I prefer to take things, and digested these 8 episodes over a period of weeks. And then I'm finally... What is that?
Which are each an hour long. These are long episodes. These aren't like
these are not short. And I think
it's like
they book. Like they don't feel boring. They don't feel over long. I'm never like,
the first
when is
episode
this
did feel a little bit draggy as someone that was not familiar with the lore, but episode 2 breezes, and it's exciting.
It cooks.
I think it's because there's so many different storylines. I totally just interrupted you. I'm gonna let you finish, but like the idea that they go back and forth between several lenses and characters that we're following, right? So we've got the princess who has powers of some sort, I gather, and like her her, run-ins with this young elf, and like seeing the way that her
Rat boy.
rat boy, right?
Rat
Seeing
boy.
the way that the royals, right, affected the common people, and that kind of class consciousness awakening is very cool. And then we've got Yennefer and that kind of clash with the magics and the chaos and all that stuff. And then we've got the Witcher and the Bard, and they balance it really effectively, and it feels really tight, and it moves, and it's exciting. It's cool. I didn't mean to cut you.
Absolutely.
Keep going. Sorry.
No, you're all right. Just painting our background before we do these 4 episodes. And then I've played all of the games. 1 and 2 I didn't finish for various reasons linked to disinterest. And then the third one I've played twice, and I think it's quite good. It's not, some people call it like the greatest RPG of all time. I'm not as hot on it, but I enjoyed it enough to play it fucking twice during quarantine, so take that for what you will. It's a long ass game that you can get for like $15 now and play for 150 hours and not have done everything. It's one of those. But you could also play it for 40 hours and play the whole thing. It's there's a lot of optional things that you have to do. And then I am trying to work my way through right here the first book in the series. There are 8 books.
Wow.
There are 3 books of essentially short stories starring Geralt, and then there are 5 books that also star Geralt and Ciri and Yennefer that are much more a series.
Which
like
one's
you would
Ciri?
understand. Like,
Ciri is the princess.
Ciri's the princess. Ciri's the princess.
Right.
And then the those 8 books end, and then the games are sequels essentially
To those books.
To those books.
So the first game is a sequel to the 5th
Witcher
novelization.
8. Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's very interesting. Because
where does the TV show fall on all of this?
The TV show is an adaptation of the books, and it's kind of,
not the 3 with the
each of
short stories, or do they have like the short
So
stories are
far.
interspersed within the canon of what is
So
essentially the
that-
story of the first book or something? I don't know.
Without giving you too much meta context, the Geralt stories are the short stories, at least in this first season, and the Yennefer flashback when she's going to magic school, and the Ciri portion.
It's a
Ciri
flashback?
portion.
Wait, all of this Yennefer stuff is a flashback?
Oh shit! Shit! Oh, I fucked that up royal.
I mean, it'll still be exciting when it comes to realizing how that works into the broad context. Huh.
Forget I said anything.
But it only makes sense, though, because, like, Ciri is the girl name?
Yeah, Ciri is the blonde princess.
Yeah, because, like, Ciri, like, from the jump, we know that Ciri and the Witcher are connected. It's, like, been, like, manifested that Ciri has, like, a destiny to meet the Witcher. I think it's loosely maybe I'm interpreting something that wasn't there, but there's like that story that the Witcher is telling Roach, which I love the fact that his horse is named Roach. That brings me such joy.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
About how he saved this one girl from being, assaulted. Essentially, I'm not gonna say the R word, but like, and she's like looks at him and disgusted and throws up. It seems like maybe that might have been her at some point, although I don't know. Maybe that's just a loose story.
I will say nothing. I will attempt to give you nothing regarding any of this.
But Yennefer seems decidedly removed from it. So the whole time I've been like, what is... I love this Yennefer story, but I'm like, how is it going to tie in?
Yeah, it's all very interesting, and I'm sorry I gave that little tidbit away. But it's don't worry. It's all good. But the Geralt stories are essentially short stories from the books. Like, every one of these are so far short stories from the first 3 books, but they're not exact. Like, the timeline of them is kind of mixed around. They kind of change some of the it's kind of like when they adapt comic books to movies or TV shows. It's like, we're not doing the comic book stories beat by beat, but we're taking the world, we're taking the characters, we're taking some of these iconic moments and remixing them and making them fit a different medium. And I actually just read coincidentally working through this book, I just read the story that this first episode is based on. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you what is different and what isn't, but I think it's very interesting. The series stuff is much larger lore. This is the super arc of the Witcher as a book series. Jace apparently just had to force quit, just had to jump ship. So I was doing some big Witcher lore explaining, and I will somehow sew this all together.
That's funny. I called you on the way to grab something sweet that my wife was craving, so I'm not even going to be here for a long time. So I may have derailed a more entertaining and continuous thought, only for a little pop-in.
That's just okay. You popped in for a little bit. You tossed a coin to us.
Well, I caught the end of what you were saying. So you just read the short story that this season starts with?
Sure. So I'm working my way through the first of 8 Witcher books. The first collection of short stories, The Last Wish. And I'm not reading each short story that each episode is based on specifically, but I'm kind of working my way through this first book, and it just so happened that I reached this short story in time for this episode. So it was very interesting. And again, this will not be a show about comparing the book and the TV show, but the differences and the similarities I think are interesting.
Sure. I know that the whole first season of Witcher is about this book full of short stories and not the actual first book of the Witcher saga, but that season 2 is supposed to be the first book, which is interesting.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a mixture based on this one casting announcement that I've seen. I'm okay, that is a short story character, not a full novel character. So I think it's going to keep being a mix, which I like. Is that okay, we're going to have a mixture of episodic and overarching Buffy the Vampire Slayer style, and that's a very effective format, even on a Netflix dump it all at once style show.
I don't know what happened. It seems like right when my computer decided to completely lose its mind, Caleb jumped on, so I'm very thankful for that. Hi, Caleb!
Coincidence? I think not.
I don't even remember what I was saying, but it sounds like y'all are on your way as to talking about the kind of crossovers with... Oh, I was saying, there might have been a little bit of a mini spoiler that you just hit me with, but I actually I do like going in sometimes knowing stuff like that, because then I can look for the Easter eggs first way through.
Then you can lens it a little bit. I'm going to try and keep you free, because I think the way that this show unravels is very interesting. And I was you when I first watched the pilot, and I was what is this? Who are these people? What is happening? And having seen the finale, I'm actually, this first episode is fucking excellent as the beginning of the story that they are overall trying to tell. Yeah. Without saying anything else about the way that the season unfolds.
They kind of take a page out of a lot of shows, books, which I've only discovered after being a part of this podcast, is that they went with 2 episodes to start the show that in and of themselves are both pilot episodes. One's just a pilot for Geralt, and the other's a pilot for Yennefer.
Right.
And
and they're are 2 leads, essentially.
Yeah.
And both of them are tied together with what I'm only assuming are the 2 major developments for Ciri, right? It's we get the historical development that happens in episode 1, which is the fall of that empire, essentially. I don't know if they're going to rise again. I don't know anything about that. And then we see the beginnings of her journey of her own, and her being able to see a different lens on what that reign actually looked like to the people, and understanding elves a little bit more. It seems I definitely, after having seen these first 2 episodes a second time, even just those 2 episodes got a better respect for that first episode.
You want to know the worst part, Jace?
What?
Is that you're kind of right and also kind of wrong.
About what?
About
what you've said. It's very interesting. It's very interesting.
About like the establishing of Siri and where it's going to go from here. Because without spoiling anything too vast, Siri's story is happening at a wildly different time than Yennefer and Geralt's stories when this show starts. They do not exist in the same time.
So none of these stories are happening at the same. Oh.
None of them.
And there's a little hint in the second episode that when Stregobor talks to, again, we looked up this character's name. I can never remember it, but the really hot fucking dude that Yennefer flirts with.
Is
it it's Eskel? No, that's a different guy.
It's IS.
Anyway, the hot guy.
The hot guy.
Oh, sure, yeah.
The fucking hot guy.
We say the hot guy.
When Stregobor talks to the hot guy, he's much younger. Like his beard is full brown. Like he's a much younger man. That didn't even
register because it was so much darker.
Right, it was dark. They're trying to hide. Istrid is his.
Wait. Okay, that makes so much sense because I remember. Okay, already things are making more sense because I remember watching it and they're talking about that myth in episode 1, right? Where what's her name? The one that Geralt kills. Renfrey, right? They're saying all of these girls were born on this thing and like that, and it's established that no, because then that doesn't make sense. I don't know. It's established that she was born on this lunar event, and that's why she's got this thing, and then it's almost implied that Ciri also was born on this lunar event, but then at the same time, it's also told as a myth of something that happened in the past, so maybe it's happened more than once. I'm just...
I will literally explain it to you when we talk about the first episode, like, in earnest. I will be like, this is what he is saying. Yeah, but Ciri is not quite factored into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a thematic similarity, not a literal similarity.
Okay. Because I do remember there's the one... Oh my gosh. Yeah,
There's also a moment in that first season where Geralt, when talking to Stregobor, is asked about... I don't remember exactly the words, but in a way, he's asked about the Queen, Ciri's mom, who he does not mention her as Queen, I don't think, but he mentions her winning a battle, like a big battle, and like then in Ciri's story, you hear her and her husband, Ciri's mother and her husband, talking about that battle when they met each other years ago.
Or Ciri's grandma.
It's Ciri's grandma.
Or Ciri's grandma.
Yeah, her talking about...
She doesn't look
well,
very
my
old,
age
but that
when
is
you won
that
your
is her
first
grandma.
battle, or something like that.
And that conversation happens after Stregobor talks about her winning that battle recently in Geralt's portion.
So this is a show that, like, once we finish this, I'm gonna have to watch it again, aren't I?
And you'll want to. You'll want to be like, how does this all line up?
Oh, it lines up. It's just the most... It's Inception-esque. It's just like dreams inside of dreams inside of dreams, all overlapping on each other.
Wow, this is exciting. You know, I was getting into the show. I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like, I was getting more into it, and now I'm like very much excited to keep going with this.
It's very good.
Yeah, it's very fucking good.
Also, listeners, I apologize ahead of time. I'm recording from my car, so if my audio's bad, it's my fault.
Nah, you okay? You all right? So let's and however long we have Daddy Host, let's go into our first of our 2 episodes in earnest here. Season 1, episode 1, The End's Beginning, directed by Alik Sakharov, written by Lauren Schmidt-Hisrich, who is the showrunner of the show. In this episode, Geralt is contracted by the wizard Stregobor to bring in a former princess called Renfrey, who was born under a black sun, yada, 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 yada. And also, simultaneously, a young princess named Ciri is privy to some real horrendous shit when the kingdom of Nilfgaard lays siege to the castle she lives in, and everyone inside has to kill themselves. It's so fucking rough.
I was like,
Oh
what
my
is fucking
God.
happening? Why are
They're
they
fucking. They're doing Hemlock. They're doing Cougarton Abbey.
Yeah,
They're
why?
fucking,
Oh my god, Cougarton Abbey, I cannot.
that they have to. It's because like Nilfgaard, they're bad. Okay, like
Clearly.
Nilfgaard, they're no good. You don't want anything to do with Nilfgaard.
Are they elves?
And they
Are Nilfgaard the elves?
no, they're humans. They're all humans. I will explain the elf business when we get into episode 2, but the elf business is very interesting. Nilfgaards are bad humans. They're bad guys. You don't want anything to do with them. They don't take prisoners, so they'll fucking flay you alive and do horrible things I don't feel like discussing.
To the dogs?
Yeah, cut off your tongue, feed it to the dogs. They'll assault you, like everything. They will not like save you. You will not be safe. You will not be taken prisoner as a bargaining chip. So kill yourself. It's the lesser death. Although that one dude decides, like, no, I'm not going to take the poison. I'm going to put a knife in my fucking
I
neck.
remember watching that and being like, okay, wait, there's 3 people in this room, and he just grabbed 2 vials. Like, homeboy, what are you doing?
Well, you gotta,
He's like
conservation of resources.
Seppuku, just fucking.
I have to be a man about it. I have to kill myself with a knife.
Suicide!
Fellas, is it gay to take poison?
Oh my
Fellas.
god.
Sorry. So this episode, I like a lot better on rewatch than I did. I thought it was fine, like the first time, but I was just very confused. Even as someone who like played all the games and shit, I was like, what the fuck is going on? But even though it's a little clunky, thematically, it works really well as sort of what I like out of a pilot of a show like this. What is the thesis statement of the show we're doing? Is that, like, Geralt is going to continually be put in these no-win situations where you, the audience, will sing to yourself that little ditty from the Hunchback of Notre Dame opening song of who is the monster and who is the man. And he will be forced into a tough moral place, and who knows if he made the right decision. Who knows what the correct thing to do was here. In this episode. Now, I did just read, again, the first short story that this is based on. It's based on The Lesser Evil from the first short story collection. And I'm not going to sit and talk about what's different. However, the one thing that they cut from this story that I will always regret is that Renfrey, after being deprived of her royalty, found a gang of 7 dwarves and became like a murderous Snow White on the highways.
Oh, so instead of dwarves, they just had the men.
They were just like, yeah, exactly. So she hired some bastard men, but and that all that dwarf stuff is like prequel. We don't meet the 7 dwarves; they're all dead before we meet Renfrey. But they cut that aspect of her backstory, and I don't know if I'll ever forgive them for eschewing that part of Renfrey's backstory. That's all I got for you. The Witcher short stories, every Witcher saga opens with Geralt getting into a bar fight of some variety, and it almost turning, in the first short story, it turns very deadly. In this, Renfrey sort of steps in and stops it from turning deadly. But that's classic Geralt, almost getting murdered in a bar. And
and that's tied to the fact that, like, I'm sure, Jace, you picked this up pretty quickly. Witchers are kind of fucking hated by...
Yeah, no, I got that.
They're weird mutants, and nobody likes them.
It's really wild because, like, so I if you've spoken about this, I apologize. I had to go inside and buy Sour Punch bites and ice because my wife is high maintenance and will not just get ice fucking trays. Has to buy a bag of ice. It's fine. It's the worst. What's even worse is our freezer has an ice machine in it. She doesn't like it. So, anyway. My first experience with Witcher was in the games. I watched a lot of Witcher 2 and played Witcher 3. Never read any of the books. But, like, knowing what I knew from the games, I kind of expected some things going into this. And, like, one of the biggest things is that, like, I'm obsessed with the idea of how cool the Witchers and their creation is. And how, like, they're taken and put through a magical process that leaves them like less than human, but more than human, and it allows them to have tolerance to imbibe things.
I'm really excited to see. I'm only assuming we'll find out at some point how the Witcher came to be the Witcher, but
hopefully, I would imagine that's probably part of what we'll see in season 2.
Oh, they don't really do it in season 1. Oh, okay.
They do a little bit.
Spoiler alert, barely. Yeah.
Yeah, they do a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, but in the but in the games, like Geralt has a buddy he travels along with. It's like his mentor. And I can't remember his name. Everyone wants Mark Hamill to play him.
Vesemir. Uncle Vesemir. I did it. I pulled it out of my brain.
Ooh,
No, he'd be good at this.
Mark Hamill would be
He'd be
fucking
good.
perfect for Vesemir. He'd be incredible.
He'd be fucking great.
But anyway, one of the first things that happens in Witcher 3 is with Vesemir, you go to White Orchard, this small town on the border of the war that I'm assuming is taking place in this show with Nilfgaard and the other kingdom. And you get into a bar fight. Because you try to like ask questions, and instantly like Nilfgaardian soldiers are like, "Hey, fuck you, freak!" And he's like, "All right," and fights. So like,
right.
Yep. When that stuff happens in the show, I was like, "Fuck yeah, okay, I'm on board for this because I know this, I like this."
Right.
That was my only point.
No, absolutely.
And they clearly keep, and not to get too far into episode 2 yet, but like they clearly keep the whole like being in a bar kind of thing consistent. Like at episode 2, when we meet the Witcher again, he's at a bar, but he's like chilling in the corner, being like, "Nobody fucking talk to me." And the bard's like, "I'll talk to you," and he's like, "Please leave."
Fucking Jaskier
leave me alone.
comes up. Yeah, it's so good.
Great fucking character. I love that dynamic that they've established with just like Jaskier being like doopy doopy doop, and Geralt being like, "Fuck off."
It's beautiful. They're best friends. They're beautiful.
I'm puzzled the whole show why Geralt fucking tolerates him, because it's obvious he absolutely hates his existence, but like he never just like actually makes him leave. He just kind of deals with it.
Isn't it implied that the Witcher doesn't really feel anything though? Like when
that's the greatest lie that the Witchers allow to continue to exist is that like Geralt definitely feels like he feels rage, he feels love, he feels lust, he feels all of it, but that is the
that's the way of saying that Witchers are less than human, and it's the
right. The populace says that Witchers don't feel anything, they're inhuman monsters, and the Witchers allow that to exist because it's good for their brand. It's good for their like, I come into your town and I kill your monsters sort of.
Yeah, it's also one of those myths where like when a group of bandits is given a trait that they don't have, that they like don't leave survivors or something, they don't have to be as careful next time they show up in town. So like this culturally permeated idea that Witchers don't feel is like, oh, when I don't want to deal with some fallout from shit that I caused, I can just leave and they'll expect that. Instead of like having to deal with shit, they can just be like, peace. And that's when you see like other Witchers later in the show or in the books or in the games, other Witchers act differently and kind of lean into the like, yeah, I'm a soulless monster. And Geralt like doesn't try as hard because he's like, I don't know, the better one of the group.
He's the one we're following. He's the one the story's about. That I'm excited. Now I didn't realize that there were going to be other Witchers, which makes sense, and I'm excited too.
Yeah, I'm spoiling shit. Just like
these are minor spoilers. I'm not super big on like don't spoil it. Like there are certain things that I'm going to be like, oh my god, don't fucking spoil. But like there are certain little details that I'm like, yeah, I don't care. Yeah, like
proper spoilers can be intriguing rather than like spoil. Like I started watching Game of Thrones because of a big spoiler, and I'm like, that sounds fucking interesting. So I watched the show.
Sure, and I spoiler too. I've literally seen one episode of Game of Thrones, and does it have anything to do with Jon Snow?
No.
Okay. Well,
it has something to do with
the spoiler you got. I want to know.
It was Ned Stark getting beheaded in like episode 9. You know, like the guy who looks like the lead of the show gets killed at the end of the first season. And I'm like, that sounds like an interesting show that I want to watch. And I
remember
enjoyed
like finding out that like Jon Snow dies and people lost their shit. And then does he come back from the dead? I don't even know.
Yeah,
I just remember hearing this and being like, oh, that's a major spoiler, isn't it?
I didn't get that far. I enjoyed seasons 2 through 4. I did not enjoy 5, and I said, well,
did you not watch season 1?
I did. Well, I watched that whole one. I didn't enjoy it, but I did watch it. But 2 through 4, that's good TV. And then stop. And then say, well, this seems satisfactory to me. And wrap it.
And then D.B. Weiss and David Benioff played Let's Learn How to Write a Script for 5 years.
Right.
They didn't
have the books to base it off of.
They didn't figure it out.
They lost
But,
their outline.
but it is only because of that show that like this show exists. I feel.
This
because
feels
this
very much like in the same realm. Like thanks to like shouts out to very much like if that had.
Oh, I have
like,
no doubt. Have no doubt. At the pitch meetings, Netflix was like, "What if we had our own Game of Thrones?"
Exactly. And it's like, what is our Game of Thrones? And it's different enough that it doesn't just feel like a ripoff of Game of Thrones.
There's no dragons.
Yeah, there's no yet. But
Yeah,
yeah, I'm sorry. In this fantasy world, there are
No,
dragons.
that was me. I was actually fishing because I fucking love dragons.
Yeah, dragons are cool. There's one on this show.
Dragons are rad. I'm so stoked to meet this dragon.
There is confirmed one dragon in this season. Look forward to it. But and they had this. They learned the right lessons from Game of Thrones for this show. But I feel like they also learned the right lessons from like fucking Xena the Warrior Princess. Like this show feels like if you took away just a little budget, this could have been a syndicated Hercules the Legendary Adventures style show. And I do not mean that derisively. Those were good fucking shows. And that it's like the way that Geralt talks is cheesy in the way that those shows were cheesy, but that's part of why I love it. Like that, like Geralt will look at a wizard and be like, "Your prophecies are supposed to rhyme, dude. Where's the rhyme?"
It feels like a proper fantasy. Like
we talked about it's so good.
It doesn't feel like it's obsessed with itself or like let's be overly gritty or overly realistic. Like it's just right on that line of like we accept it as real and they play with it a little bit and like they just let you. It's exciting. It doesn't feel try hard, which is very common.
And we talked about this before we recorded or started the conversation tonight, but Geralt's conversation with Stregobor is one of my favorite fucking. Like if last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever the fuck it was, because time's a blur, especially when your wife has a kid.
100%. And you.
It's the worst. But
you have a child.
You also have a child. You know that, right?
Yeah.
You have two of them, in fact.
Two.
I know what you mean.
But yeah, a couple weeks ago when I talked about like one of my favorite scenes of TV being in season 3 of Daredevil, like this conversation with Stregobor in the beginning of season 1 of this show.
But there's no lesser evils.
Oh yeah, dude, because Stregobor is trying to get him to do his dirty work, and like Geralt's a Witcher, so like he's not unaware or not. What am I trying to say? He's not foreign to the idea of being like someone come deal with my shit. But when Stregobor tries to like justify it as a lesser evil, Geralt's just like, no, bro, fuck off. Like lesser.
I don't fuck with lesser evil, dog.
Greater, middling. That's all fucking evil. And I'm like, fuck yeah, it's so good.
I was literally saying that a little bit earlier tonight. That was such a major short little monologue. I was like, oh, this is fucking rad. Just really establishes that from. I said it's a decidedly non-American perspective. I mean, the function of American television and propaganda as a whole is lesser of two evils is something to be clung to, right?
I would argue it's a decidedly non-Western.
Ding 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 ding. I like
because
it's Polish though, right?
It's Polish. It's the pride of Poland. Yeah. As we've talked about on the community show, they gave Obama a copy of the PC game because they're so proud.
Jace, I'm not saying that like it's anti-Western in its mindset. And that makes sense because it's not from a Western country.
Gotcha.
I'm agreeing with you and just saying that like Western doctrine differentiates from Eastern doctrine in that like at least in the warmongering times, Eastern doctrine was still very tied up in honor until the cons showed up, and Western doctrine was always about honor until they went to the New World, and then like they come to America and learn a new way of fighting, and that just like ripples backwards through the Western military history, and then all of a sudden Western military doctrine goes from being like, we're going to stand on this side, you're going to stand on that side, we're going to fight, or we're going to be in formations and chivalry and blah blah blah, to like guerrilla warfare and like let's kill as many as we can while doing the least amount of work. And so like, yes, you're absolutely correct, it becomes this doctrine of like, well, we'll do a little bit of evil to get rid of a bigger evil and just call it collateral. And so Geralt's being like, nah, fuck that. It's all bad. Just admit it. Stop acting like it's not. And it's super good. It's super good. I love it.
Yeah.
Very enticing.
Can I do something that sounds annoying and read you one paragraph from the short story that this first episode is based
I'm
on? Because it's
intrigued.
like the thesis statement. It's the thesis statement for this entire universe,
Do
like
it.
this whole franchise.
Do it.
During his life, the Witcher had met thieves who looked like town councilors, councilors who looked like beggars, harlots who looked like princesses, princesses who looked like calving cows, and kings who looked like thieves. But Stregobor always looked as, according to every rule and notion, a wizard should look. And that is the idea behind this show, is that, like, yes, Renfrey is like the evil princess, born under the solar eclipse, and she is meant to do evil. But, like, the fucking wizard isn't any better. Like, it's all thoughts. Like, you're gonna get to episodes or storylines in this franchise where it's like, yes, a werewolf is rampaging, but, like, what made the werewolf fucking rampage was the evil of man. And, like,
Oh, let me make 2 comments real quick. I gotta take stuff inside, and then I'll put in headphones. This show and this universe and Witcher overall is extremely good at what Kev just said, which is like, there's no such thing in this universe as an evil that is unprovoked. Like, every evil comes from something, and like, you'll see it in this show, so I won't spoil that specific story. But there's stories even in the games that I experienced when I played my little bit of it, where like a town's being harassed by like a day lich, and you're like, okay, and you go there to fight it, and then of course, like, you can't fight it. You have to figure out why it's haunting that town, and when you do that, you figure out that like it was a woman who was killed, and then like it was like a woman who was killed, and then like her body was thrown into a well, and when her body was thrown into a well, the like wedding band her husband gave her came off of her body, and so her spirit wasn't able to leave because those two things weren't together. So Witcher doesn't go kill an evil and fix everything. He goes and rights an old evil, and by doing so makes the current evil also go away.
Yeah.
So those things are always tied in this universe, and it's very cool. But the other thing I wanted to say real quick, and then I'll be right back, is the way that this conversation with Stregobor happens, and the way that the conversations with Geralt and Renfrey happen, and then in episode 2, which I'm getting a little bit ahead of us, but where you kind of see the formative moments in Yennefer's upbringing, feel very much like the problem I have, or the thing I like, simultaneously, about the difference between the beginning of The Force Awakens, the first Star Wars sequel movie, and the beginning of Rogue One. And that, I'm making a long point, but I'll make it quick. The beginning of Force Awakens, you see Rey, and you watch her go about her life for like 10 minutes, and there are 0 words spoken at all. And like, in that time, you're given this really, really good picture of like what her world looks like, how she lives in it, what she does in it, and why it's important. And then the beginning of Rogue One, they get Jyn Erso to the Rebellion base, and they literally just fucking read a rap sheet. And they don't show you anything. And like, there are 2 ways to tell a story, and this show is really well put together because it takes, I think, the better way, which is, instead of just like listing out why you should care,
it's a visual
medium.
medium. Show us.
Yeah, and it gives you conversations that have connotations that go beyond what you've seen, that make you infer things. And it's really good, and I like that a lot. And I'm a writing nerd, so like, forgive me, but that shit really
It's good writing.
cracks my eggs.
Really cracks my eggs.
Really boils my yams.
Yeah, because this whole story is built upon us not really being able to know whether or not, because obviously Stregobor is not an excellent person, and if anything reveals that, it's obviously like the end of the second episode where he's like, yes, go there and seduce the hunchback girl. But it's the whole story about Renfrey is based on this, something that might be a full out lie, is that like girls born under what is essentially a solar eclipse are just going to be inherently evil. They're bad seeds, right? And Renfrey is suspected of being that, and her fucking jealous stepmother is like what gets her thrown out of the castle and out of royalty. Like she's banished for being this bad seed under what might be completely felonious circumstances, lies that wizards tell to make people think that they need these fucking wizards. And it ends in this woman's death, where she's been pushed to this absolute point where she doesn't see another way of living. Like, sure, I could go try and live somewhere else, but this guy ruined my life, and am I supposed to just like let that go, whether it's true or not? Like, am I just supposed to let that slide? And we never know if the fucking they call it the Black Sun. Like, we never know whether the fucking Black Sun prediction is correct or not. And that it just it's that perfect feeling at the end of the episode where like Geralt did everything that he thought he was supposed to do, and then the townspeople throw rocks at him and like kick him out of town.
I found that a little odd, because I was like, okay, hold on. You're telling me that these people who are scared of him are just gonna keep spitting at, like, the dude's got massive sword and he is magical.
You saw what he did to those dudes, right?
You throw rocks at him like he's not gonna do shit. I'm like, what is going on? Are you stupid?
He stuck that dude to a door with a sword.
Have a head.
See, what y'all are missing though. What y'all are missing though is that and Kev maybe hinted at this before, but when you brought it up, I just wanted to say out loud, wizards in this universe are cops. But anyway, this town has a wizard that protects them, they think, and who's standing there telling them that this witcher did something bad. So they
think he's protecting them, but he's up in his castle making imaginary ladies with their boobies out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like their courage in that moment comes from the fact that their fucking cop is standing there. If Stregabor's not in the street, they're not throwing rocks at a witcher. Not at all. They're hiding.
That's a good point.
But Stregabor's standing there, and he's a wizard, and he's the good guy, and he just said this guy did bad.
Damn.
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
Wizards are cops. Wizards are cops in this universe. They literally made up that the Black Sun made evil women so they could do experiments on those women's bodies because they wanted to do something. Which, like, if that's not alienating or like demonizing a people just to fuck with them,
right? And Geralt did literally, in the end, he did everything Stregobor wanted him to do. Right? Like he killed Renfrey and all of her hired men, and then Stregobor's like, "Get out of here, Geralt! You're not welcome here anymore." Fucking just like completely turns tail on this dude, cop style, and kicks him out of town.
Yeah,
and it fucking sucks. Stregobor, piece of shit.
And Renfrey. The worst part for me is that Renfrey forced his hand. Like, he wasn't gonna kill her. He didn't want to. But Renfrey was like, "I know that you've got more important shit to do, so I got to do this so that I die, so that you can move on." It's really, it's so good.
Good ends up being a good episode. The parts where it flounders is the series royal court stuff, which does like need to happen. It is like the pilot, like the plot has to start.
Yeah.
It's not as effective as the Geralt and Renfrey stuff.
Yeah.
Truly. Shall we? Let's second episode, shall we?
Yes.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Season 1, episode 2, 4 Marks. Again, directed by Alik Sakharov, written by Jenny Klein. This episode introduces us to our co-lead, Yennefer, a young hunchback woman who her stepfather sells for less than half the price of a pig to a witch lady who comes to town and says, I want to buy your daughter. Not a great look, gotta say. And Yennefer is carted off to Hogwarts, and at the same time, Geralt meets Jaskier, the bard, his bestest friend and maybe his boyfriend, and the two of them come into conflict with the former king of the elves, who a noble little satyr is stealing crops for. This
is this the episode where the
is
hunting
wild.
party goes after the satyr?
No. It's just Geralt and Jaskier, and he comes head to head with the satyr. People make fun of the way this satyr looks. I think he looks gross in the right way. He looks fucking weird.
I think I am a big fan of a practical effect. I think those eyes are incredibly difficult to pull off with a practical effect, and I think that they did a great job. I think
they did good.
Yeah.
The eyes don't fully seem like focused, but that's because they are practical effect eyes, and like. Quite frankly, I'm down with it. I buy it. I'm like, this dude is a bizarre creature, and he looks... It feels like he's actually in this world. I think overall the benefits of having him practical outweigh the benefits of the little amount of focus in his eyes that we would have gotten if they had done him digitally. And I'm also just a big fan of practical effects within the fantasy genre. I think it's one of the reasons why these things are so exciting for fans is because that's that like, oh, how'd they pull that off? Oh, how'd they do that? You know, the actual like breaking down, like, yeah, I'm a fan. I like it.
Let me pull out my soapbox for another minute.
Do it.
I love practical effects to a point. There's always a point where, not always, I don't want to say always, there's frequently a point where some things want to use practical effects so much that like it hurts. I think, at least my experience. This is not one of those cases.
I know what you mean.
This is not one of those cases, but there is one that we will inevitably get to later. Focusing on, just to tease Jace, a demon fetus, which is incredible.
What?
Yeah, this shit's fucked up. Like this is a fantasy world where like beating your wife means your baby turns into a fucking demon. Like it's this is that kind of shit.
It's incredible and very dark, but that particular practical effect reached that level of like, this would be better if you just made me be okay with CG. And like, at the same token that I'm saying that with, I also like appreciate that they tried. So it's never a lose-lose game. It's always win-lose or win-win. But like, as much as I love practical effects, there are times where I'm like, just fucking, we're at a time now where we can do CG that looks great. Just do that. But like, I don't know. I just felt like being the contrarian opinion for a second.
No, I mean, look, don't get me wrong. There is a time and a place where I agree. You know, digital effects and computer-generated graphics, I think, like, are absolutely the way to go. And I think there's a lot to be said for what they can do. But I think there's also just, like, a tangibility. You know what I mean? Like sometimes when things look, like, super real, it takes you, I don't know, like there's you can tell that they're in
Absolutely.
the same space, you know what I mean? And that's not fully something you can,
and even then
recently,
like even the best visual effects, I am always keenly aware that Rocket Raccoon is not there. As much as I love Rocket Raccoon and Groot, I am always like at least partially aware this is not occupying the same space.
It's funny that
even though those are like the best ones I've ever
one of the
seen.
few,
you know what I mean?
See, like I have,
that I actually disagree with that is actually like there are a few shots, not all of them, a few shots of Thanos where I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah,
that's 100% insane what they pulled off.
Sure.
And like feels like he's in that space.
But there's a director for me, who we've got to do like a side thing where we talk about Neil Blomkamp movies because I know Kev has strong opinion.
Who do I? But he's very interesting to talk about. He's very interesting.
Yeah, I really like his movies. They're ham-fisted as fuck. And Jace, if you're unaware, what I mean by ham-fisted in Neil Blomkamp's case is the rich speak French and the poor all are and speak Spanish. But
except for Matt Damon, our main character.
Except for Matt Damon, the white savior. Yeah. Anyway.
But
anyway. Let's look at that rabbit hole and pass it.
Yeah, please.
Neil Blomkamp was a visual effects artist for years, and then became a director. And like to Kev's point, where you always kind of know when something's fake, despite it looking really good. my first experience was was watching his movies, because his special effects are so good, because he does it in the like lived in practical effect way, where like they will use practical for stuff that's like close to camera, but everything else is not, and things look real. And the reason I wanted to bring it up specifically is Chappie, his third movie, arguably his fucking weirdest movie, mostly because it features Die Antwoord, the South African rap group, as the main characters. It's weird. The movie's about a robot becoming sentient, and that robot the whole time is CG, except for a few close practical effects. And there were legitimate moments in that movie where I had to like stop myself and be like, fuck, this isn't real. This robot's not real. So like you can pull it off and really, really do it. But yes, to Kev's point, there's always a moment where you're like, wait, that's not fucking there.
Effects of the close-up, I definitely think that does something to ground it. Like,
yeah, 100%.
I think, honestly speaking, it's a balance. You need to be able to make a balance of it. I think...
try as hard as you can. I'll always notice when an actor is staring at a tennis ball on a stick.
Right.
I'll always notice
that. Shaggy.
Oh, God bless. But Matthew Lillard, in the year of our Lord fucking 2002, doing it better than most people do it today.
It's true.
Because, like, okay, that movie came out the same fucking year as Attack of the Clones, and he is miles ahead of anyone in Attack of the Clones.
Oh, God. There are moments in prequel Star Wars where you can
say that there's literally one character he's playing to versus, like, 12.
But he looks at it better.
Jace,
I don't know what to tell you.
No, yeah, Jason, you can't be fair, because there are scenes in the prequel Star Wars movies where, like, they're talking to Jar Jar Binks, for instance. Another rabbit hole we'll jump over. And, like, you can tell Ewan McGregor is doing a very bad job of looking at a tennis ball.
Yeah.
Because he's staring at a character's chest, not their head.
Shaggy always has fucking Scooby-Doo's eyeline in those movies. Like, say what you will about the... I just watched the first one again for it. And Scooby looks okay by 2002 standards. The monsters of that movie look fucking atrocious. But Shaggy always has Scooby's eyeline. He's meeting Scoob where Scoob is supposed to be, and like you cannot say the same thing of Liam Neeson as much as I love Liam Neeson. You cannot say the same thing of Natalie Portman as much as I love Natalie Portman. You can't.
Oh, dude, it's amazing because like Liam Neeson, Natalie Portman, Ewan McGregor, fucking
Samuel L. Jackson,
Samuel L. Jackson, and then what's the name of the Christopher Lee.
Christopher Lee.
The fucking biggest names in film for like decades before and to come are doing their best. It just still sucks.
They're trying. It just sucks so bad. And you know, there's a saying, and my girlfriend says it all the time where we're talking about film, but practical effects look fake but feel real. Visual effects, computer CGI, looks real but feels fake.
Yep. And I think it's finding that balance between the two. I think that's a really excellent way of putting it.
I want to tattoo that. Somewhere. That's real good.
But that's just
tattoo it on my bicep.
And I think this show does a good mixture, because obviously, like, so much of what our fucking coven of sorceresses do is visual effects, and most of it looks fine, especially on like a TV scale. But the times where like, oh, we made a monster and you can talk to it, are always like, there's just this lived-in quality to them, because Henry Cavill is actually interacting with a person that is there, or a satyr that is there, and there's just a different tangible quality.
I also just love puppets.
Puppets are cool.
Folks, this is why Mandalorian works, because Baby Yoda is a puppet.
He's a real guy.
CG.
Dude, the Baby Yoda puppet is impressive.
Baby Yoda's a real guy, and you can hold him, and he's a real guy, and that does make like a big fucking difference. And sometimes something has to be CGI, like you can't build the llamas that they ride in Last Jedi. You can't build those, but you can build a fish nun and you can build a Yoda, and it works very effectively when they do those two things.
Yes,
and that's all I'm gonna say. So a brief Witcher history lesson, just in regards to this elf plotline, which is like slight. You know, the real star of the second episode is Yennefer. This is getting all of our Yennefer pieces in order. with a side order of Geralt and Jaskier and the setup of that relationship. But the way that the elves work in this universe is very interesting. And they kind of touch on it in this first episode, but just so everyone is clear, the human beings in the world of The Witcher are the descendants of Earth human beings. That, like, every X amount of time, there is what they call the convergence of spheres. Because in this episode, they talk about, like, the humans arrived on Earth and were not previously here. There is a literal point where, like, the universes become weakened. And so, like, at a certain point, like, there were no elves and monsters on this planet, and then suddenly, like, a bunch of fucking elves and monsters were dumped onto this planet, right? And the elves came through, and they fucking wiped out the races that were here before. There were, like, these other species that existed on this planet, and the elves came in, and the elves fucking took over, and they were, you know, king shit of Fuck Mountain until the next convergence of spears and the fucking humans came in, and you know the fucking humans are not gonna allow this to be. They're always the biggest dicks at the fantasy party. So the fucking colonizers came in on a fucking comet and said, like, no, elves, we're gonna wipe out your fucking race. And
which is effectively, though, what you're saying was what the elves did first, though.
Exactly. And it's this cycle. And some see the elves in this franchise as European Jew allegories. It's not like a one-to-one, but, like, their placement within the world seems to line up for a lot of people with, like, Polish Jews and Eastern European Jews. I cannot personally, I don't know enough to speak on that to any greater extent. But the way that, like, the Caucasian Christian white people fucking came in and wiped out a bunch of people is essentially the state of the world. And so we are indeed meeting with, like, the former top shit king of the elves who now lives in a cave with a fucking goat man.
Yeah, that's great. It's great. To speak to Jace's point in two statements. One, welcome to The Witcher. No one here is fucking good.
Right.
And two, it further makes that conversation from the first episode between, it just adds so much context because Geralt is laying out Asimov created the 3 laws of robotics, right? You can't harm a human, you have to preserve yourself, and you have to ignore rule 2 if it means breaking rule 1, right? Asimov's books run by that rule, so robots have to run by those 3 laws. The laws of the Witcher universe are lesser, middling, greater. It's all just evil. And, like, everyone in
central theme here.
Everyone in this universe has their hands dirty at some point. And regardless of how far away that point was in the past, in the case of the elves, it still means your hands are still fucking dirty.
It's interesting, now that I think about it, that we're talking about it, at the beginning of episode 1, sorry to go back.
No, go for it.
Where we see, like, the very beginning, we see he kills, what is it called?
A Kikimor.
A Kikimor.
Oh, yeah, Kikimor.
And,
cool guys,
the wizard... The wizard guy, who I've already forgotten his name again.
Stregobor. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, thank you. Stregobor basically explains that, like, no, like, Kikimoras kill because they're hungry.
Right.
Right? Yeah. And so then this opening scene where we see the Witcher effectively fighting this monster that we just assume is a bad guy because he looked scary. Right. We then find out, no, dude was just hungry. And then we watch him do a really complex decision where he sees an injured deer and he kills it to put it out of its misery, and then we find out that he ate it. Yeah. And then thinking about that, that's basically being like, no, The Witcher is no different than the Kikimora.
100%.
Yeah, it's just the circle of life, like, illustrated into a fantasy novel. Like,
it's really cool.
The Kikimora is just an apex predator that was doing its thing, but it was pissing some people off, so he took care of it. And he says something to that fawn that's injured, and he's like, "It seems like one of us is lucky."
Is it, or something?
Yeah, and that, like, is also really illustrative of, like, this universe of, like, shit sucks, and today it sucked more for you, but I'm gonna eat. Like, it's very much everybody here is going to survive, and it's going to come at someone else's cost. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Like, this universe is built on pain and death, and here you go. This is how it works.
Right.
And then episode 2, which is what we were talking about, episode 2 furthers that by starting with a girl who literally is the embodiment of it's just not your day.
Yeah,
but
Christ.
like,
Just the way that they wrap this up as I can't remember his name again, but with Yennefer.
Strangable. Oh, are you talking about the hot guy?
So the pretty man.
Pretty boy.
Istrid?
Istrid.
Yeah. Wow.
Yennefer and Istrid, how like you're introduced to these characters and you're like, wow, these are two characters that are unaffected by any of this bullshit, and then you end the episode with, damn, they're both being
Actually, they're both by this bullshit. Separate wizards are manipulating everything that they're doing.
It's like
the deep gut laugh that made me have.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah.
These people are free of bullshit. Oh boy.
Oh no, actually,
so
they
sorry.
are living in bullshit. And like, listen, just brief shout out here. Mayanna Burning as Tisaya, the like head witch. Oh,
Brilliant.
if she told
Brilliant.
me to manipulate a dude, I'd do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We are definitely.
She feels like not Melisande. Melisande? The Red Witch
Melisandre or
from-
whatever. Yeah.
From the Red Witch from Game of Thrones, who's like chaotic good,
Yeah.
but like
Lawful
But, like,
neutral.
also-
you know, like something like
but
that.
also lawful. Yeah. Who like, yeah, you're gonna do good things, but also you're a fucking monster.
Yeah, you suck.
It's very
But
good.
we're
And they're
just
both in red, which is great.
yeah, rules. We've just unfortunately like the fucking Venn diagram of like, okay, cold in personality, hot in body, high status, and in the middle of that is Kevin's bullshit, and she is just like right in the middle of that fucking Venn diagram, like the Emma Frost, Frankie Dart fucking meeting of those circles.
oh wow. No, I never made that connection before, but that's spot on.
Hey,
Checks out.
Hey, Jace. I think we've helped Kev discover, or maybe he's just elucidated us to his type.
Yeah, you're both hot and cold. You're yes and you're no. But it's, anytime I'm playing a fucking video
I
game,
hate that you just did that.
I'm
so
sorry.
much.
Anytime I'm playing a fight,
You ever hear it take so bad you just need to go to bed?
you're in, then you're out. You're up, then you're down. You're wrong, and it's right. You're black, and it's white. We fight, we break up, we kiss, we make up.
What would Carly Rae Jepsen think?
If me quoting Katie,
I
she'd
think
probably
we'll find
support
out.
it. She's nice and she's nice and fucking Canadian. But anytime I'm playing a video game with romance options, and I'm like, oh, who am I gonna smooch in this? And they bring me someone who's like
Kev.
really hot and really cold.
Kev.
I'm like, oh, Miranda Lawson, Mass Effect 2. Oh, Edelgard, Fire Emblem Three Houses. Done and done. Done and done.
Ken. So you like Judy Alvarez in Cyberpunk?
Yeah, you get me. Yeah, so you get it. Oh, so you see. Oh, so you get it.
You're significantly out of my depth at this point. I'm like,
It's really funny because I'm this is another aside. I'll make it quick. I apologize.
Nah,
But
hit it.
I'm playing through Cyberpunk as well, and I know Kev is, but I'm
Very
probably
slowly.
behind you. What's up?
is it working?
Oh, it's working great for me. But I
Yeah,
have
it's
a
working.
Series
It's
X.
working fine
I'm
for
in the
me.
weird.
But
Yeah.
if I were you, I mean, Jace, I know you don't have the system. I'd wait. Give it a
I
little
wasn't
bit.
planning on getting it for a while. I mean,
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of conflicting perspectives on the trans representation,
Yes.
so I'm just kind of letting it chill for a little bit before I make any decisions.
Oh yeah. So like, I love this game. It's just Fallout. It's just a Fallout game.
Yeah.
It's not
100%.
revolutionary. Two, it's got some of the best character moments, complemented by some of the most abrasive racial stereotypes I've ever seen in my life. Every Japanese character is a caricature. It's the fucking worst.
It sucks
And, like,
really bad, actually.
There's a lot of shit in this
Sucks.
game that sucks a lot, but there's a lot in this game that's really fucking slaps. So it's tough. But anyway, my story was Judy Alvarez is this like ripper doc who's covered in tattoos and is obviously the chick you bring home to make your parents mad. And
Oh, sick.
My
she's
favorite guy.
she's 100%. She's 100% my shit. And then I did a couple missions and met this character named Panam, and she's like the girl I actually married.
Yeah, Pan Am's cool.
And so I'm playing this game and I'm like, but there's the bad one who hits buttons, but then this one's like really good. And it's great. And so it's great to know that Kev is an absolute Judy fan.
Yeah, I fucking feel you so hard. And the great thing about choosing between those two characters is that your gender decides for you. So, good for you. But yeah. Anyway, this show's very good and makes you question all your shit. And also, yeah, the way they do sorceresses in this world is just, it's my shit. It's just, it's something I'm so into. I'm so into the Lodge of Sorceresses. I'm so into the way that, Jace, you will soon see how, like, their whole society works. It's so good. It's exactly my jam. And Yennefer is the best. she's
the best.
This
is just a really exciting introduction to this world, and I'm really excited to keep going and talk about it with y'all.
Do you also hear jams and, like, fat beats? I heard music briefly.
Oh my dear wife is watching the utterly terrible Tiny Pretty Things on Netflix, which is about, it's like if Black Swan and Pretty Little Liars had a really stupid baby.
Holy shit! I mean, that show sounds great. What you've just described.
Oh, I was like, I don't think you know your audience right now.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Hold on. I've been watching it all day with her. It's the most exquisite melodrama I've ever watched.
Oh, it's
but
beautiful.
It's also full of some of the most phoned-in performances I think I've ever seen in my life.
It has
it's like watching Riverdale and being like, I can't look away from this train wreck
100%.
and being like, this is terrible content. But also, it just gets so insane that you're like, I need to keep watching this.
Yeah, it's like watching Tiger King, which I didn't do, but
Do it.
No, I will not.
It's a good little show.
It is several hours of your life you will not get back.
It's
And I'm gonna leave it.
obviously sickening and manipulative in some ways, but it was a good watch, I gotta say. Went down smooth.
It was thoroughly entertaining, but deeply disturbing.
Deeply disturbing in many ways, and obviously manipulative when they're talking about, when they're like, Carol Baskin grinded up with her husband, and you see the meat grinder in her kitchen, and it's one of those fucking, like, Benji with Babish. I'm like, you can't put a man through this. This is not the Sweeney Todd meat grinder.
Fun tie-in with Community. They did a return episode where they reflected on the actual series, starring Joel McHale.
Ain't that wild? Ain't that something?
Wild, like a tiger.
Oh.
I think that's cute. That it's my bedtime.
Yeah, I think it's about time we wrapped up. So that seems like as good a cue as any. But this has been. We're not going to do any rankings or anything for.
There's no need to rank
for these
8 episodes.
For these
apparently
episodes,
you have to watch all of them for any of them to make sense.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's a good balance of super arc and in episode arc. It's like each episode we're going to encounter a little problem, we're going to solve it, but also we are adding to the larger story.
That's my favorite type of development on a short form series, like a mini series or like a season of a television show. I wouldn't say short form.
Oh, in all honesty, and I'm writing an article about this that I'll share with you all when it's done. It's the progression of prestige television. Is that, like, a lot of people think that prestige TV means it's unique. And I don't mean this negatively. It's not that it's unique. It's that it does everything everyone else has already done, but just does it like a movie would do it. So it's still procedural in ways. It's just not completely procedural. And Witcher's like that. It's like, we got a problem to solve this episode, but it's going to bleed into the overarching.
Right. Is that, like, we went to this because, like, I think shows like, My Beloved Lost, but also like Justify, we're like a good mixture of these ideas. Is that, like, we have a thing that this episode is about and we're adding to the superstructure of it. And then for a while with these Netflix shows, we were leaning too hard into super arc and not doing nearly enough arc. That it's like, I have to watch fucking 4 episodes of some of these goddamn shows for anything to occur. Whereas, like, the shows that are actually popular on Netflix, like fucking BoJack or The Office or Friends, are episodic with, like, added super arcs. But I can also sit down for half an hour and get a complete experience. Community was a big hit when it went on Netflix, which is a good mixture of these things. And, like,
I think it's because that we're starting to, because we have the ability to binge, we have a greater lens on both of those arcs, right? We're able to look at the episodic arc and the season arc and even the show arc at a much easier, like in a much easier way. It's much easier to like look at them side by side. But the thing is, at the same time, though, they really nailed the individual episode arc because that's where their main focus is.
Right.
They were like, okay, this big arc is just in the background because it's got to last this long anyway. And we do minor developments. And it feels like it's stretching on forever, but that's because when viewed on a weekly basis, you're not thinking about the super arc in the same way. You're thinking about right here, it's like, oh, okay, this thing happened. It's like, oh, what's going to happen this week? But when you're binging it, you're like, what happens over the course of this season? And we're starting to see it integrated a little bit more effectively in network TV shows now. I mean, certain ones, right? You're not going to see Law and Order. Right,
Yeah.
Start to adapt massive super arc for the season. That's just not going to happen. You're not going to see that happen. But it's really exciting to see the way that these kind of developments are affecting. Even like I think of back to a show that neither of you have seen, Steven Universe. The way that they kind of pull in this idea of a super arc is insane. What they pull off in this show, and it's a cartoon.
Jason's just gonna bury us with that.
Y'all need to watch the damn show.
Those of you playing along at home, take a drink. Every time Jace mentions Steven Universe, every time I mention Lost, just like take a drink.
If you really want to watch, I've got so many of those. Like, I guess people are waiting for me to say Star Wars because that's the thing.
That's the current one right now.
Yeah. If you want a really good example of all of the stuff y'all have been talking about, we have been talking about for the last like 10 minutes. Shonda Rhimes is really good at writing shows, as everyone knows.
Yeah, we all know.
And like Grey's Anatomy arguably doesn't have a mega arc for much of it.
Right.
Occasionally they'll throw a bigger arc in, but
They
like
might do a 4-episode arc or something.
Yeah, she really cut her teeth with that and How to Get Away with Murder.
Sure.
And
Scandal.
speaking of binging shows, as Jace just said, speaking of binging shows, Sunday, Amanda and I watched all of Bridgerton.
Oh,
I was just about to say, how is it? I haven't watched it.
It's very good. It's like a Jane Austen drama made by Shonda Rhimes. So it's like just drama to the nth degree.
But also just like kind of just like throwing the rules a little bit out the window. From what I've heard.
Almost completely out the window. Mostly because there's like, and it doesn't take place in America, so I don't know my history well enough. But there's just a pretty large population of black people who are lords, and I'm like,
right? No,
what?
that's not
What?
accurate. I mean, also from what I've heard, just a little bit, just like the sheer amount of glitter in the costumes, not historically accurate.
I don't care.
It's
Give
like,
it to me.
It's like Hollywood.
The glitter. Give us the glitter.
It's like Hollywood Vikings. They don't look like what Vikings look like, but they're all extremely fucking.
They look like
so,
opera.
Like
they but now that's what we think fucking Vikings look like. So you can't.
Yeah.
You can't change it now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's
Well, I'm gonna dip out. Y'all can continue if you'd like, but I gotta go hold the baby. I'll show you the baby real quick if you want to see him.
Yes, I want to see baby.
There is a baby.
Hello, baby.
Hello, baby.
Hold on. Allow
I
the
love
deal.
you, baby. Now, Elmo will ask a baby. Hi, baby. How do you tie your shoes?
And the baby never answers because it's a baby.
Look at that little squish. Look at that little squish. Love her.
Hello.
baby.
Oh, hello. Oh, hello. Listeners at home, I don't know how much of this I left in, but there is a baby on the screen.
Had to let y'all see him for a second.
It's a squishy.
I walked into the living room with the camera and my wife pumping. She was like, "Oh my god, don't!" I was like, "Don't worry.
Don't worry, I'm not
I
gonna.
won't."
God, it's a small frame.
Oh,
You're not
dinner and
evil.
the show. Oh,
Don't worry, this
Yeah.
is just audio.
yeah, don't worry. It's friggin' beautiful. Well, Daddy Host, I thank you for joining us. It's so nice to talk about The Witcher with you.
Yes, I'm glad I could come in and offer my very long opinions.
I love it. One might say I love Puppet.
Oh shit! Meta as fuck. Incredible. I love y'all. Take it easy. I'll be back next week. Follow me on Twitter. Love and shit. If you want, you don't have to.
Bye-bye. Wow, what a guy.
What a guy. Love him.
Yeah, love him. Great guy.
Good guy. Great guy. Good kid.
Good kid. Oh, he's
good
okay,
kids.
got a good head on his shoulders. But yes, we slide now into the section that we call plugs. Let's see, TV's Kevin Lanigan on all the stuff. That's me. Greendale 3 on the Twitter. That's all of us. And I'm going to go ahead and recommend a delightful little documentary that I watched yesterday. It is a film called Italian American. It is a 45-minute Martin Scorsese documentary that he made about his parents, who are fucking the most New York fucking Italians you've ever met in your entire life. They are fucking hysterical. And he's just like, it's just a nice little interview about like what was New York when you were growing up. Tell us stories about like your life and your family and raising fucking Martin Scorsese. It's from like 1974, and it's like fucking delightful. I watched it over a lunch break, and I would recommend doing literally that for anyone out there in the world. Like, have a nice warm food and just like listen to Martin Scorsese's mom talk about fucking pasta sauce for 10 minutes, because it is great.
I love that.
Yeah, it's fucking good.
Awesome.
Yeah, the super arc of this documentary is she's making pasta while all of this is happening. Great
Nice
fucking
time.
documentary. If you've seen like Goodfellas, like his mom is in that and she's hysterical. She's so funny. Anyway, when they come back in from the murders and she's like, "You look so hungry. Like, have some fucking spaghetti."
Is that his
and
actual
meatballs."
mom?
Yeah, it's his actual mom. She's playing like, I
That's
think,
funny.
Joe Pesci's mom. But it's very funny. Anyway, it's Italian American, and it's currently streaming on the Criterion channel, but I'm sure you can get it any number of places.
I'm gonna throw mine out there. Yeah, you can follow me at Jason Ziev. Ziv is how it's pronounced, but it's Z-I. It's Jacen. No, Jacen-Ziev. I apparently don't know my own name. I didn't say it earlier. My pronouns are they, them. I am the non-binary host of the show when I'm here. I don't have much of a plug outside. You got me inspired, though, as far as like plugging another show that I really enjoy. I have been meaning, it's been out for a while, this most recent season of it, and I'm behind a season. There's a show on Netflix. If you like watching films and television in other languages and throw on some subtitles and get going, there is a show called 3% that is a dystopian political sci-fi show that is just fucking incredible. It is an amazing show. It's visually stunning. It's captivating. It's adventurous. It's puzzly. It's like it's heady. It's everything that I love in a good show. It makes you think. It's got some great shots. It's got some action, adventure, but like it's developments in the political. I don't know. I just love it. I think it's unbelievable. It's in Portuguese. I believe it's Netflix Brazil. 3%. It's the number 3 and the percent sign. It's fabulous. Give it a watch. I just love it so much. And I think that's what I'm going to leave y'all with, because it's a great show, and I like talking about great shows.
It's
So there.
fucking good show. That's a great recommendation. I'm gonna fucking take you up on that.
Give it a look-see. It's really great. We'll talk about it.
Absolutely. We will be back next week with, frankly, 2 of the most iconic stories in the Witcher short story collections. These are going to be very, very fun, and frankly, just some excellent Yennefer #content. So this
I'm very excited.
Yeah, very excited. Get on the Yennefer train. Choo choo. And until next week, well, we can't say
It's not going to be
we
pop.
can't say pop.
What can we say?
Speak normal.
What?
He says that to Strugaber. He's like, "You wizards always talk and say nonsense and make mysterious faces. Speak normal."
That didn't even rhyme.
Everyone knows good prophecies, right? The voice he's doing is hysterical, and I can't imagine how much like actual vocal work he did to like sink into that gravel, because that's not what Henry Cavill fucking sounds like.
Oh.
And it's like when you read that like Bradley Cooper spent like a full year learning how to talk like his character in A Star Is Born, just like getting into that register and training himself to get that low. Anyway, fascinating actor shit.
Jeez.
But until next week, speak normal.
I hate it.
You only have to live with it 3 more times.
Okay.
Until season 2.
Ooh.
I guess we don't sing a song. I'm all off.
I
This
don't
is
have a
so
song.
weird.
I know Caleb was saying that he was gonna sing "Toss a Coin to Your Witcher."
Oh, I'll sing. Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of plenty, oh.
Kevin, are you snapping on 1 and 3 right now? Are you really snapping on 1 and 3 right now?
I am white as the driven snow, my friend. I was just loosey-goosing. I was just having a good time. I'm not here to play by your rules.
I don't make the rules. It's just it's not really a rule as much as it's just I can't even. I'm not even getting into this right now.
Toss a coin to your witcher, oh valley of plenty, oh valley of plenty, oh. You didn't like it? You don't like it?
I didn't dislike the performance. I did dislike the snaps.
Well, that's fine. That's why I don't do it. So I avoid snapping normally. In social situations, in situations of grace and finance, I avoid snapping at all costs because I know I'll embarrass myself.
There's a Thanos joke in there somewhere. I'm not gonna try hard enough to make it happen.
Yeah, listener, fucking fill in your own. Snap.
It's a snap joke.
Snap joke. Snap.
Something about Scorsese and his mom.
Snap go bye bye. Scorsese.
Hope for the best. Expect the worst. Some drink champagne, some die of thirst. No way of knowing which way it's going. Hope for the best. Expect the worst. Hope for the best. Expect the worst. The world's a stage. We're unrehearsed. Some reach the top, friends. My love the strong friends. Hope for the best. Expect the worst. I knew a man who said a fortune that was splendid. Then he died the day he planned to go and spend it, shouting, "Live while you're alive. No one will survive. Life is sorrow. Here today and gone tomorrow. Live while you're alive. No one will survive. There's no guarantee. Hope for the best. Expect the worst. You could be Tolstoy or Fanny Hurst. So take your chances. There are no answers. Hope for the best. Expect the worst. I knew a man who saved a fortune and was splendid. Then he died the day he planned to go and spend it, shouting, "Live while you're alive. No one will survive. Life is funny. Save your money. Take the money. Live while you're alive. No one will survive. There's no guarantee. Hope for the best. Expect the worst. The rich are blessed. The poor are cursed. That is a fact, friends. The dead we stand, friends. Hope for the best. Expect even with a good beginning, it's not certain that you're winning. Even with the best of chances, they can make you end up anxious. Look